Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. This quote from George Santayana is used frequently and assists in representing why we teach history in schools. History is typically a lecture-based course. However, with a little time and cooperation, a teacher can make history come alive. Many young students are kinesthetic and visual learners because they have not learned lecture note-taking techniques. This is why demonstrations or simulations are helpful in teaching younger students. Students simply can't sit in a classroom for an hour and listen to and remember everything that is said. Unfortunately, due to a lack of time and funding, many teachers cannot do this. Last year, I had an amazing opportunity to teach a class of 35 fourth grade students and partnered with a teaching veteran, Mrs. Charles. This teaching experience allowed me to see the first-hand effects of a large classroom. Although most of the students were cooperative, when one student was disruptive, the entire class became distracted as well. With such a large class, teaching would become difficult. Lecture-style lessons wouldn't work and students couldn't pay attention to them as is expected. This teacher decided to take learning history outside of the classroom and into the gym for a Civil War reenactment. Instead of talking about how the North had better supplies or that there were more Northern soldiers, the kids were divided into groups and given marshmallows. The North students received 2 very large marshmallows, while the South students received 2 regular-sized ones. This allowed the students to actually demonstrate the differences between the two sides. This activity seemed to really connect with the students, and they got to spend a lot of time throwing marshmallows at each other. We also got to reenact another large piece of history, American immigration. Students were assigned characters, which they had to memorize. These characters had different attributes that they had to remember, such as what country they were from, if they spoke English, if they were sick, and many other traits that anyone coming through immigration would have. They would present this information to teachers and volunteers at various stations representing the immigration process. I was a volunteer at the first station. I got to try out my British accent and actually fooled some of the kids. The students got to learn the difficult process of immigration, trying to speak a language you don't know, and being deported. If the kids did not pass inspection, they were sent over onto the bleachers to go with their fellow kids back to their homeland. It seemed to be a much more helpful activity than listening to a teacher lecture about the process. Getting students involved in their work can really make a difference in their understanding of the topic. I've seen this firsthand, whether it's throwing marshmallows at each other across the gym floor or acting like an immigrant who doesn't speak English. First-hand demonstrations can really help a student.